Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Palm unofficial launch webinar. Um, my name is David Brown-Dawson.
My name is Gandhi Velazquez.
So we are the co-founders of Palm. And really, I'm just going to dive straight in. I don't even want to waste any time.
Let's go.
Let's talk about the why behind Palm. Um, so, Gandhi, I'm going to ask you first. What led you to join Palm?
Mm, that's a really good question, David. Well, what I can say what led me to join Palm um, is really, I'm a full stack software engineer, my 9 to 5. By night, I'm not Batman, but I'm actually um, work as a consultant as well. And I've been doing this for the past 5+ years. But there was a season that I actually got laid off.
Yeah.
And what I find out, what I realized, it's that it get me into this rabbit hole. I can say that I didn't know what I accomplished,
Yeah.
where I was. I knew for sure what I did and what I can do,
Yeah.
but I didn't have clarity to um, actually be able to explain my value in
Yeah.
the real world. Like, we're looking for another job while making interviews. I always got frozen with the question, what was your greatest achievement in a project? And I was like, you know what? I have launched apps from 0 to 1.
Yeah.
I have built scalable products. I have built SaaS companies, multi-tenant for clients for my old company. And I find out that I just didn't know how to explain that.
Mm.
I knew what I didn't have and what I accomplished, but what about the process? I had no track of my goals, no track of my achievements, no track of any feedback. I have had good feedback, bad
Yeah.
feedback, and all that built me up, but I didn't know
Yeah.
what was it. Like, there was no path of my career. It was just like I go to sleep and I wake up. What happened in between? I don't know. So what actually makes me eager to join Palm, it was when David, you told me, like, I'm creating a career GPS on your growth. I was like, wow, I know I have skills. I know I'm good at what I do, but how do I own my growth?
Mm.
What tools do I use?
Yeah.
What is the approach that I need to take? I don't know any frameworks. I haven't been in a coach experience. But the way you told me and saw me in Palm, actually, he saw me in Palm, to be honest. um, but the way you explained it, it made me eager to contribute to it.
Mm.
I want to see where this goes and how we can change the perspective in the career, in the professional fields.
Yeah.
Like, not only for professionals that are looking for new job, but ones that want to grow.
Yeah.
Maybe that they want to go from, as myself, an engineer to engineer manager or
Yeah.
higher. It's like, how can we achieve that? And what do I need to show
Mm.
to achieve? That is beyond performance.
Yeah.
Performance is good,
Yeah.
but then how do I sell myself to my manager?
That part.
How do I position myself? I didn't know. So I'm eager to join Palm, and I'm joining Palm um, with the perspective to change the way the industry is seeing career growth, to take it to the
Come
next level.
on. Come on.
So that's what I'm eager.
Oh my gosh. Woo, we waited till this thing was being recorded to launch into that. That is okay.
Are we recording?
Wow, I hope we were. Oh my goodness, that was awesome. So you said a couple of things that I that resonated deeply, and that is this: you're so good at executing and taking and doing the thing,
Yeah.
but when it came to time to communicate what you were doing and communicating that value, it was a challenge.
Was a challenge, yeah.
And yeah, I'm gonna go there. Right now, there's a lot of layoffs happening. There's a lot of uncertainty. And so being able to actually have the confidence and the clarity of, hey, this is where I want to go, but this is what I've done, and this is how I best communicate that. I've seen that separates having that clarity of I can communicate very clearly, whether it's using the STAR framework or what we have in our platform, the CLEAR framework to communicate effectively. That does actually separate, and it can sometimes be at the detriment of the company because they may hire the person who communicates more effectively, but isn't as good at doing the job.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Yeah, like because one thing, something that I think about what you were saying is like they hire the person that knows how to communicate better. Uh, I'm gonna be honest, I'm good at what I'm doing in the technical, but communicating, not the technical, communicating where I want to take my career. What steps do I see? How can I achieve that? Hey, I did this. That is not only like, hey, I implemented a new feature, but more of like, hey, I was able to unlock something for more than 1,000 users, 10,000 users. Like, how do you explain that in a tangible way that your manager or someone that is not as technical say, wow, you're a star player. Where do you want to go next?
Yeah. Well,
I agree.
Shameless plug. Palm can help you. No, okay. So let me answer the question as well. Why Palm? I have to start with my career journey in order to answer this. So my career started as a civil engineer officer in the Air Force. So did that for about 5 years. Spent time in Japan, loved it.
Wow.
Spent time on the East Coast, leading multidisciplinary teams to African countries. And in that process, I got to work with a lot of amazing people.
Wow.
Stepping away from the Air Force was intentional in order to retool. I wanted to learn the language of business. I wanted to learn how people make decisions. And so I went to business school, focused on real estate finance and leadership development. Wow. Went into real estate finance, spent a few years in that space. And then was like, nope, I'm going all in on working directly with leaders and teams. And that was where the heart was. The heart was, okay, I understand the language of business. I understand this language of public policy even a little bit from my time at UC Berkeley. And it was like, okay, I understand how people with capital are making decisions about what multifamily buildings. We're in a multifamily building, how to build and when to build. And this led me to really understand that no, a lot of these decisions at the end of the day, they're made by people. And they're made by teams. And teams are executing and doing things. So I want to work directly with the leaders and the teams that are impacting the world to help them do it at a larger scale. And this for me was like the heart behind stepping away from real estate finance, which I was getting to interact with some really amazing people, seeing a lot of cool projects before people even knew that they were coming online. It was really great. And I just felt the pull to take the step into entrepreneurship and to start building LeadCom Gym. And it was in building LeadCom Gym, in working with those leaders and teams as an executive coach, as an organizational health consultant, that I got insights into really, there's three things. One, I got insight into how teams were interacting, like just how challenging feedback is at like a fundamental level. Like it deals with emotions, it deals with like your identity. And so that feedback was so pivotal, but it also related to performance. Because it was like, well, how do I how does a leader manage their team's performance without providing feedback? Or if they only have annual reviews. And so seeing the industry shift away from these annual performance reviews to this more iterative, quarterly at least, or even now overlaying one-on-ones to make sure that people are on the same page. So it was in seeing how people were working together effectively or non-effectively. It was reflecting on my own career. And being like, man, I would have loved to have a single place that had all of we call them officer performance reviews. But like, it would have been great to have all of those in one place, along with my reviews for my time in in real estate finance and just see what the through lines were. Like, how have I grown
Yeah.
since the start of my career? And so I started looking. I was like, I don't know. There's got to be a tool out there
Wow.
that you can.
Palm.
Yeah. There's got to be Palm now. I mean, it's Palm now. There wasn't one when I started when we started,
Hey.
and it was this idea of. I remember when I left the Air Force, they handed me a big manila envelope with my medical records.
Oh no.
And that's it. It was just all my medical records there. And I was like, and so as I was thinking about this as well, and this is the last piece that I'll share. Man, I was like, they gave me all my medical records for me to take with me. I have like PDFs and stuff like that of my past performance reviews. Again, what if there was a medical record for your career? Like, what if you could take it with you when you leave a company instead of just being left with the PDFs of your past performance? So that was the piece where I was like, I need to either find a tool or, God willing, build a tool. And it ended up being the latter. And so that's what led me to Palm, is really wanting to build a tool that grows with you as you grow your career. And just make it a little bit easier. Like, give you that clarity, give you that confidence when you're going into an interview, or you're going into a promotion, or you're going into a feedback session. Like, you know, where you have the confidence, you have the clarity, and then it just makes it a little easier. Doesn't mean that you're not doing any work. You still have to you still have to perform.
Yeah, of course.
You still get a chance to track what you're doing, but it makes the process a little bit easier.
I like that. What you're actually saying about confidence. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
How do you see Palm putting confidence as the users? You know, use Palm tools to track their achievements or to track what they need to track for the career.
Yeah. Two pieces. And it all ties to accurate self-perception. With Palm, people get to put their achievements in. And so over time, they get to see what they're actually doing. So whether it's insecurity, inferiority, or this idea of, oh no, I got in and now I feel like an imposter. It's like, no. If you're tracking your achievements, you're seeing what you're doing. You're seeing the impact. And so you have it there for you. The other piece is this, and this is how Palm started. It was a Palm growth report. And it was, I had friends who were willing to send me their past performance reviews and their most recent performance reviews. And I went through, and it was like, okay, what can you pull out? Can you pull out hard skills, soft skills, areas of growth?
That's good.
And then if I was their best friend and I had their growth in mind, what's a harsh truth that I would tell them? Like, what's that missing piece that if I knew it, it would unlock everything? But people around me may not actually be wanting to say it because they don't want to hurt my feelings.
Oh, that's one thing.
So that was what led to it. It was like, and so one of my buddies, he's in the military. He is, when I say a high performer, I mean at the highest levels.
He's the top.
Yeah.
It's good.
I remember him sending me his performance reviews and me sending him back this growth report, and his response to me was, "Wow, this is the first time I'm seeing this through like a third party lens, and it's given me a level of confidence." And this is somebody who was like a high performer.
Yeah, like he has confidence.
Yeah, and it gave him another level because he was able to see himself. And all the work that he's done, and see it through a third party lens where it's like, hey, here is, based on all your accomplishments, based on all the feedback that you received, this is a story that it's telling about you. And so here, that was one of those times that it clicked for me, where it was like, oh no, this is allowing people to gain accurate self-perception and allowing them the confidence, like giving them that confidence to move forward, to take that next step forward.
Wow. I like that.
Yeah.
And you see that's one of the stories that I heard like from Paul.
Yeah.
Actually, you saying one of your friends, he was already the highest, and he was able to get a new level
Yeah.
of confidence. And by the way, this is a tool that it's already in Palm.
Yes.
We're gonna
Yeah.
talk
Yeah.
later
You're right.
about it.
You're
We're
right.
gonna talk
Yeah.
later
Yeah.
about it.
That's true.
But is there any other story for that?
Yeah. Man. So again, one of the earlier users, and I'm not naming them. If you're watching this, thank you. Appreciate you being one of the early users. And I'll just say the friend, she was transitioning. She's transitioned. She had transitioned out of one role at one company, and she was transitioning. She was looking for what was next. And I was like, hey, do you want me to do this Palm Growth Report? She was like, sure. And I remember sending it back to her, and then hearing like she let me know, oh yeah, basically she fast forward a few weeks, she got a job.
Wow.
She landed a role that she really wanted,
Wow.
and fast forward a few more months to now, she's doing well and she's crushing it. But what she told me, I was like, hey, do you mind if I like use your story as a case study? Do you mind if I like share a little bit? Could you write a testimonial for me?
Yeah.
And I will never forget when she sent it to me, I read it and I was like, wow, she's being really nice. I was like, she's being very nice to me, like by saying like, oh, Palm, like Palm helped me better communicate my value and better because we provide these summaries, not just for you, but we provide a summary for your manager. We provide a summary for senior leadership in HR. And when she read those, it gave her language to communicate her value in her interviews.
Wow.
And then the harsh truth, the growth areas that were identified, she was then able to use those with a career coach and be like, these are the areas that I want to focus on.
Wow.
And they did. And then she
Wow.
landed the role. So when she put that in the testimonial at first, when I saw her next, I was like, thank you so much for the testimonial. That was awesome. And her response was, you don't have to thank me. It's just what happened. Like, and that was one of those moments where I was like, huh,
That's good. Yeah.
this is okay. There's utility here. This can actually change people's lives. Like because it unlocked pieces in her to be able to then go get the job that she really wanted next. So that story was one of those early ones where, man, it hit so deep whenever I still smile when I think about that because it was one of those moments where it was like, oh no, let me actually, because this was before it was an app. This is when it was just it was a PDF that I was saying. It was a PDF.
Wow.
The growth report started as a PDF.
What a long way.
I tell you what,
Yeah.
it has been. And I'll share one more story, and that is from as recently as today. And that is there's an organization that I'm working with some of their middle managers.
Yeah.
And doing some coaching with their middle managers and doing some workshops for the entire company. And one of the things that I've heard more and more from millennials and Gen Z, but admittedly, even other generations, is this desire for less formal, more frequent feedback.
Wow. Yeah.
Less formal, more frequent feedback. So instead of annual reviews, instead of waiting till the end of the year to tell me how I did, like just like give me updates. Let me know, like vector check me, like make sure that let me know where I'm going and where I am. And so we're using Palm, like literally onboarded people today to use Palm to get feedback, essentially do a 360-degree feedback with their team members, the people that they're leading, their peers, and the people that are leading them. Like we're having them use this tool in that way. And so there's different ways that you can use the tool, but this one we're focusing on feedback and will they ultimately use it for achievements and do other stuff? Yes, but we're wanting to use this one in this case so that we can help them dissect the feedback that they're receiving so that they can use it as fuel for their growth. And that is why it's baked into the Palm platform, is because feedback is fuel for your growth. If you're afraid of feedback, then you may be afraid of growing or you may be limiting your growth. And I gotta be honest with you.
Wow.
This is true even in what we're doing. Like when we're going out to market, not everybody's saying yes. It's not for everybody. But we're getting good feedback and people are saying yes. And
Yeah.
people are trying it out and seeing value. And I think this is the piece where feedback is a gift. And so long as we keep that lens of, hey, no, the right people, those high achievers, those leaders that want to make sure that they future-proof their teams, like they're investing in Palm.
Yeah.
They're using it and they're equipping their team with the tool that they need to combine this career development and this performance management into one place. So like, man, this is the stuff that gets me jacked up because it's actually helping people. That's the piece.
Exactly.
That's the piece that is actually like, no kidding, actually helping people gets me jacked up.
No, I love that. Yeah, I love to see all analytics and see them like blowing up. I was like, okay, it's bringing value.
Yeah.
They're finding this is what I'm finding, like users find interesting ways of using it.
Yes. People are using it in different ways.
But it's working.
Yeah.
And it's
and you have access
that we get it.
Yeah, you see some of that as well. Like
I see all that.
talk to us a little bit about like how people are using it and maybe a couple of different ways that people are able to use the actual tools.
Yes. So one of the ways is we have this tool in Palm that we can call it Palm AI, Palm Report Generator AI.
Yeah.
We're leveraging AI and our agents to be able to create reports based on the data of the user.
Yeah.
So now, like before, it was a PDF.
Yeah, that's where it started.
And now it's even better because AI is doing most of the heavy lifting for that.
Yeah.
And it's allowing the users to actually see their own growth in paper, like own like analytics in paper, like see what they have done in the last week, in the last month. If we have users longer than a month, I know I am one of those.
We've been
onboarding for the last 2 months, like a lot of people weekly. Sometimes I tell David like, hey, I cannot make it to the meeting. I'm actually working on the product.
Yeah.
If I make it to every meeting, I won't work on the product. But it's really incredible how the users are just finding value to generate reports and know where they stand today and where they stand last week.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So like 2 weeks ago. And that's what I'm actually being seen in the reports because we like we're working on a feature that is not only allowing you to see one report, but more reports.
Yeah.
And actually our agents are able to kind of like chew on it and tell the user, hey, you're here now.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because I need those things. I personally need it.
Me too.
I'm not a note taker. I don't like Excel, but you do most of the data in Excel.
Yeah.
But I find Palm just really useful for my career. Even now, as we're co-founding Palm, I even find myself like I'm adding those achievements in my profile. Yeah. I'm adding the goals. What do we want? And when I hit on goal completed, it feels good.
Yeah, no, it does.
It feels great.
It does. Oh man, I love this. I love to see the progress. Yeah. And I think that's the other piece. There's a balance and we'll get to some behind the scenes, like you'll get to see it. Man, it's been fascinating to see it go from PDF to like version 0.1, like the MVP to now where it's at version 1 with like thanks to you. Like it's been fascinating to see it. And it's been, I'll be candid, it's challenging because it's like we're going out, we're having conversations with people. The initial conversations, it was an idea. It was like, hey, do you have this problem? Do you have do you even know that you can't, like, oh man, I'll never forget. There's this conversation I had. I had this conversation with I'll say a fellow Hossie, somebody who went to the same business school as I did, Berkeley, and she was like, hey, you're assuming, and she wasn't saying this in a bad way. She was saying, you're making the assumption that people want to own their growth. And I was like, yes, I am. Wow. And at first I felt defensive, and then I was like, no, you're right. I'm making that assumption.
Mm.
And I had this conversation with another lady who was like helping me think through product market fit.
Yeah.
And she was like, "You're making an even deeper assumption." And I was like, "What?" And she was like, "You're assuming that people know that they can own their growth. You're assuming that people know that they
Wow.
have access, that they can actually have that agency. They can actually have
Wow.
agency over their career."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, snap. She's right. I am making those two key assumptions of
Wow.
people wanting to own it
Mm.
and then people knowing that they can." And so that's part of why we're even having this conversation and even having this webinar is because that's going to be the question.
Wow. Yeah.
Do people want to own their growth? And do people know that they can? Do you know that you can own your growth? Do you want to? Do you want to own your growth? And do you know that you can own your growth?
Wow.
With Palm, you can. And that's like those two underlying pieces went from assumptions to like a rallying call because it was like
Yeah.
I would have these early conversations with people and they'd be like, "Wait, you're doing what?" They're
you
like,
do that?
"Yeah, like,
Oh.
oh no, my company handles that. My company does it via performance reviews. Like that's how I get trapped." And I'm like, "But what happens when you've switched companies?" And they're like, "Well, I mean, that information stayed with them."
I have to print my
Or
resume again.
yeah, exactly. Or I
it.
took a PDF of the performance review that I got, and that's what I kept.
Yeah.
But there was very few people had the granularity of like,
Mm.
no, I had these were all the achievements. These are the goals that I set and accomplished. This is the feedback I received. And so having that conversation with people has been quite enlightening, and it makes sense because we have left a lot in the hands of the companies and organizations that we work with and work for. And I'm not saying that as a negative. I'm just saying it's been a choice.
Yeah.
And now we're just offering another choice. We're saying, hey, you have the choice to own your growth, which is why the website is ownyourgrowth.ai. That's why I wanted to bake it in from the beginning.
Just like that.
So if nothing else, the moment you heard, what's the website? Ownyourgrowth.ai. Own your growth. That's the point. We want you to own it because with agency comes this level of accountability and this level of engagement. And one of the big things in the workspace right now is the lowest levels of engagement in 10 years.
Wow.
Like only 31, yeah, only 31% of employees are engaged. And there's like highly recommend you look at this Gallup report that talks about all this, but it's very fascinating to see that if 31% are engaged, that means that 69% of people working, essentially 7 in 10 people working, are either not engaged or actively disengaged. They're checked out. They're showing up just for the paycheck.
They're letting the company just like handle away.
Yeah. And so like the individual is suffering because they may not get the advancement that they want because they're like checked out. And then the company is losing dollars because of a lack of productivity of their employees. And so that's where I think as Palm continues to gain traction, employees will be able to take ownership of their growth. And how I see it evolving is kind of how Calendly evolved, which was, hey, individuals are using this first. They take it to their company and they're like, yo, this is awesome. Or they're using it and somebody's like, wait, what is this thing? Like when you send feedback, why are you sending a feedback request to me? This is awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I can send this and it goes back to the platform and you get to store it forever. Oh, this is great.
This is great.
So I think that as people use it, they'll become the advocates because they'll see how it works. Yeah. And then and we'll continue to gain more traction within companies and organizations that want to equip their workforce, but not just equip them, but maximize and steward the resources, meaning the human capital that they have inside.
No, that's right. Especially like this is not a tool to say like, oh, performance review or the company is not doing it correctly. It's like the reality, at least for me, and I've been in like different kind of like same industry, but different kind of jobs. Yeah. Throughout like the past 5+ years. And what I noticed, it's like most of them at least, they want you to grow.
Yeah.
Or most of them gives you an opportunity, but when you actually have a clear understanding of like what can you do, what you have done, and what are you capable of, because sometimes that is just comes when you see your achievements, all the feedback. It's like, oh, I didn't realize that I was managing a project, but it sounds like that because my manager gave me feedback about it and told me about it. And one of my first job, like actually my first job as an engineer, I was doing IT and servers, and then I went to do websites, and then I went to do applications, but there was a gap. And I just told my manager, I can do it. And the first time they told me, no, it's okay. We're gonna let the IT handle.
Yeah.
But there was actually a moment that it was needed. So they told me, can you do it? And I was like, I'm gonna do my best.
Yeah.
And actually it made me understand that companies want to grow their own in-house talent.
Yeah.
Because in the long terms, it's like maybe cheaper.
Yeah.
And you become a really great employee.
Yeah.
And I was enjoying it. I was enjoying like the challenge, but I didn't step into the challenge until I had enough confidence from my manager to be like, hey, great job on this.
Yeah.
Hey, great job on that. Hey, the data that you pulled out, that was good. But I have to be actively asking the manager. So this is why I like Palm, because you have to actually be active to use the platform to give you the best actually insight of who you are and what you have done and what you can do. And yeah, I can just go.
No, you're good. No. So you just hit on such a crucial point. And admitted, so you hit on, it does take effort.
Yeah.
The way I relate it is like, if you've heard of Strava or you've heard of MyFitnessPal, it takes a level of effort to track the food that you're eating for MyFitnessPal. Like, it takes a level of effort for Strava to track the workouts that you're doing or doing whatever you're doing, the activity. But that's part of taking the ownership of your health.
Yeah, totally.
That's taking ownership of your fitness. And this is taking ownership of your career. And I think that's like, I remember I was talking to somebody recently and I was like, yeah, it's Strava for your career, or it's MyFitnessPal for your career. And the moment I said that, he was like, that's what you use. That makes perfect sense. For people who track their fitness, for people who actually care, for people who are like, yes, I will. Do I believe this tool can help everybody or anybody? Yes. Do I think there is a special group of people who will actually use this? I do. I think it's going to be the people who want to either stop drifting and be more intentional about their careers. Or the people that are already like high level and they want to go even higher. They want to take that next step.
Like your friend.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Already high achiever.
Yeah.
He's just it's just elevating him to the next level. So I think everybody should use that. I really do.
Yeah.
Like the heart behind it is GPS, because I'll share this one last story. And then we'll share this platform.
Yes, the platform.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So actually it's right above your head, Gandhi. The book that I wrote, Enduring Urgency, in it, I was listening to it a couple weeks ago, and I forgot that in the book, one of the things that I wrote about was one of my favorite shows at the time, Naked and Afraid.
Wow.
The show Naked and Afraid. If you haven't seen it, hang on, stay with me. If you haven't seen it, two people get dropped into a middle of like a secluded area, whether it's a jungle or a desert or something like that.
Yeah.
And they have essentially 21 days to get to survive one, yes.
Yeah.
And then get from where they're dropped off to like an exfil location where they get picked up 21 days later after they survived.
Yeah.
They get essentially one tool each, one thing to take with them each, and then they get a map of where they need to get to.
Yeah.
Other than that, they're naked. And they have to work together. And so the reason that show stood out to me was because I was like, a lot of people, I mean, as humans, we're born into this world. And there's not necessarily, let me just be real, let me be direct. Besides, I may go off script a little bit. I don't know if there's script, but I'm going off script. Short of the Bible, there's not really a guide
Oh.
like a GPS, so to speak, in terms of careers. So we graduate, we go into the world, like we turn 18, we go into the
I
world.
like that. Yeah.
There's sure we're told get good grades, get into the best school, get good grades there, get a good job. But there's not really a GPS that you can use. So we're often dropped into the middle of nowhere.
Wow. Yeah.
Which is our careers without a map.
Yeah.
And like it's one thing to get dropped into the middle of nowhere with a map and you're like, okay, I have to survive for 21 days, get from here to there. Okay, I see where the water is. That's where I need to go first. I need to get some food, got to figure out shelter. It's another thing if you get dropped with nothing. And when I think about people in their careers, a lot of people have either been drifting or like just kind of stumbling around.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a map. They don't have any type of a guide. And hopefully they run into somebody who like they latch onto and can be a mentor or something like that. But oftentimes that doesn't always happen, is what I'm saying. And so Palm then can be that career GPS for them. It's like, hey, we know where you want to go.
Yep.
We know where you've been. We know where you are today.
Come on.
Let us triangulate and help give you steps. Let's give you like clear next steps to get from where you are today to where you want to go. And that's the piece for me that I'm like,
I'll take it.
Yeah. And again, we're not doing all the work. You still have to walk. You still have to go in and do the work, but it's making it just a little, it's making sure you're clear.
Yeah.
It's making sure, which gives you confidence.
Yeah, I know my hard skills, I know my soft skills now. I know what I've done, I know what I can do. Like,
and
pretty good.
And then when you get to time for interviews or anything like that, you have all those things.
Oh yeah.
What's an area that you think you need to improve on? Well, I already planned for this question.
Yeah.
Because I have it in the app is already answering the questions for me. So this idea of helping people to avoid drifting and be more intentional in their careers, and really it comes down to like helping people steward their gifts.
Wow.
That's it. It's like if you have accurate self-perception, if you understand how you're showing up in the world, how you're impacting people, feedback.
Yeah.
If you're able to see, oh, I know where I want to go, and here are some steps. You have clarity, you have confidence, you have this accurate self-perception, and then you're able to better steward the gifts, the ideas, the abilities, the goals that you have.
That's amazing.
That's Palm.
That's Palm.
Let's just show them. Let's just show them the tool real quick. Okay. Let's see. All right, so we're gonna start on the achievement tracker. Are we there? I think we're there. Awesome. Okay.
Yes.
So this is the achievement tracker.
Wow.
Gandhi, you've done some great work. Tell you what. So it's really this simple, y'all. It really is as simple as going in here, saying, okay, do you want to add a snap or a clap?
What about add a snap?
Okay.
It was
all right. And yeah. Okay. So project milestone recognition, like you can choose what it is. And then this is where you just type in, you add some description into what it is. Now, if you want to go deeper and you want to do something a little bit more, a larger thing or something that you want to capture more intentionally.
Yeah.
You go with the clap.
A clap. Okay.
And so what this is, same thing, you still choose the categories, but this is like the STAR method, right? Situation, task, action, result, but it takes it to the next level. We use CLEAR. And what CLEAR is context, leadership, effort, achievement, reflection. The difference between CLEAR and STAR, you get to highlight the leadership, the roles, the responsibilities that you've taken on.
Wow.
And then this reflection piece, this is what the interviewers are asking about. They're wanting you to reflect on an achievement. They're wanting you to reflect on a role. What have you learned and how are you going to use that to help our company grow even more?
What is the achievement that you're most proud of?
Yeah.
Guess what? Now we know.
You have it. You can even say, this is my biggest moment from this year, or this is my biggest achievement thus far this year. Or I learned that I should ask questions sooner because that allows us to achieve our goals faster. Like this is where you get to reflect. And then if you have any other description, you throw that in there. We just left this for just so that if you have any other information, you can share it there. But that's it, y'all. Like you get to add an achievement
Wow.
with like a click of a button. That just gets me jacked up. I think it's because over time you can see this, and I'm not trying to put all like these are some of the ones that I was tracking in this profile versus another profile, but those are real achievements.
Really?
Look, revamp Palm growth report prompting to prepare for integration with new. Look, we doing things. So here's the thing.
Wow.
Oh, actually, yeah, delivered a 60-minute training. You know what I'm saying on communicating for healthy growth. Like these are real things. I think these, and so that's one piece. The second thing that I'll show you real quick is the feedback. And this to me, man, and not even just to me, this changes the game. This is real-time feedback at the click of the button. It's this simple. You hop in here and you're like, hey, I want feedback on how I'm leading people or driving results or maximizing resources or improving the team. You get a description of what that means. And then you're able to just invite users. So I could, boom, David at ownyourgrowth.ai. I hit enter and it's there. But this is where it separates itself because you can add more than one email, which means that you can send it to multiple people on your team to see how you're doing, which essentially means that you're getting when I showed this to this lady, she was a learning and development executive. She was like, oh, so you're basically giving people the opportunity for like a 360-degree feedback, like a quick version. And I was like,
A quick version.
yeah, no,
That's good.
because there are whole companies that are built around selling 360-degree feedbacks, and you have it in the app. Like this is the piece that this is game changing. Like if you're, and we're already planning on providing some additional tools and encouragement and training around feedback so that people are equipped.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it can be a little challenging to push that button if it's going to your manager.
Think of me.
Or you can view feedback as a gift and you know it's coming back to your platform and you know you can leverage it to continue growing. And that makes clicking the button so much easier.
Oh, so easy.
So much easier. So, and then it just comes here and it can be stored. And so like, yeah, we have a few up here. This is from Gandhi. You know, look at this.
Looks like.
Yeah, you know. So this, I think these are the things for me where I'm like, oh, no. When people get to this point where they actually get the feedback back, it's a game changer. It's like, oh no, it actually lives here and it's somebody actually took the time to do it.
Yeah.
And then I'll just go to the last piece. Yeah, you have your goals here. You have your next steps based on where you're trying to go. And this is the piece. This is the last piece that I'll show. And this is constantly. This is something that we're continuing to revamp, continuing to grow on. But this is what we were talking about when we're talking about where Palm started, where the growth report started. And these are summaries. So these are a summary for you, summary for your managers, a summary for senior leadership. And really, it's not that these are going to senior leaders now. The idea is you get this vantage point of your contributions, and you get to then use this language to more effectively communicate your value and your impact. And so then as you scroll down, these are based on the past performance reviews that I put in for my time in real estate. So you have, again, hard skills, soft skills, nuanced areas of growth, this harsh truth. And so all of this is accessible from the dashboard. You can get to the latest report. You can scroll down, you can get the harsh truth, you can get the summary. And this, I just love this because this harsh truth is, hey, my goal that I set was I want to get promoted. And I said, I want to get promoted by the end of, I think I put it like end of Q1 or end of Q2. And so this is essentially telling me, hey, your promotion may need a little bit
more time. Wow.
And there's some things that you need to work on to enhance your readiness.
I like that. It's like, David, 1 month, 2 months, come on.
Yeah. Very few people may be willing to tell me that. But I have this platform that acts as my career advisor, my career GPS, that's willing to share in an unbiased way.
Come on.
The value. So
that's good.
That's it.
And then just one more
go
thing in the
ahead.
platform. If you go back to the report. This is where agent is really good.
Yeah.
And we're actually revamping it and make it better. But the more data that you feed it in terms of your goals, your achievements, and more clearness on like what you actually do.
Yeah.
what you actually are doing, what you actually did, like everything.
Yeah.
It just becomes better.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I love.
Thank you
about
for saying
you put
that.
more data and then you put regenerate.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
at the push of a button, it changes. And that's the idea. It's a GPS that updates as it gets more information.
Yeah.
And so you can regenerate the report to get more, like a better feel for, okay, what's the summary look like? Okay, what does this look like? So this is the platform. The simplest way to get to it is own your growth. Oh, this is, look, y'all get to see this in real time. Look at this. Look, this is Gandhi. This is Gandhi. Boom. Look at this.
Okay.
It's sign up now, right? Sign up now. That's it. And that'll take you to the sign up page, and you're good to go. So with that, I think that's actually, we'll land on this. Any final words or thoughts as we're looking ahead and to the people watching?
I'm excited to use it.
Yeah.
I think I'm really looking forward to more of a feedback. I know even in the onboardings, we have so good feedback.
Yeah.
And we want to listen to our users even more.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a connection that they're seeing, oh, yes, Palm.
Yeah.
But the perspective of using it kind of changes per user.
So,
but even though they're adapting with the framework that we're giving them, like the claps.
Yeah.
Like clear framework for me was, what is that?
Yeah.
But when you explain and when you apply it, it's not only applying to my career, but sometimes I use it in my daily conversations, or if I have a client for a project, it's like, wow, this is actually giving me advantage.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to see users grow in different areas as they're using Palm, and also knowing how they're growing. But for us to even bring new implementations, because I like tech.
Yeah.
I do all the tech here.
Yeah.
And I really like to build the features that I know it will empower or unlock something in one of our users.
That part.
That's what I'm looking for.
Ooh, something to unlock something in our users. This is why, like, we've been doing onboardings together and demos together so that we can see how people are actually using the tool. Like, we want to see how are you onboarding? And so, because it's allowed us to iterate in real time. It's like, oh, okay, this thing that may seem a little confusing, or this thing, oh yeah, no, they're loving this. Okay. Oh, this is how they're using this. Oh, this is cool. And then we get to then circle back up and say, okay, this person asked for this, or wow, this is a consistent theme.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's make this tweak. Let's make this adjustment, because it'll make it easier for our users. Yeah.
Because at the end, users want to know how to grow. They want to know how to do it. I don't think they want actually just an app that does everything for them.
Yeah.
They want to have the input, like a fun input,
Yeah.
but they actually want to learn
so good.
How to grow.
Yeah.
What does clear means? How do I use clear?
Yeah.
That's what they want, and that's what I want to give them.
Absolutely. No, that's well said. I think that's where we stop. I think that's it. Feel free to check out the app. Man, I'm excited because, I mean, just looking at our roadmap, where it is today is exciting, and where it's going to go.
Oh yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
it's good.
So thanks for watching. Excited to connect with you. If you want to sign up, ownyourgrowth.ai. It's really that simple. Ownyourgrowth.ai. There's also some free tools that you can get on the website as well. But we're looking forward to seeing you inside of Palm and helping you own your growth. Thanks for watching. I'm David Brown-Dawson.
I'm Gandhi Velazquez.
Thanks for watching. This is Palm. Looking forward to seeing you all on the inside.
Bye.